Yeah, I have 2 degrees from Westminster. One is a Master of Arts in Missiology, and I got that in the late 80s, and then a Doctor of Ministry with a focus on pastoral care and pastoral ministry, and that was in the late 90s. And both of those degrees have served me for several decades now. And I think about the Master of Arts in Missiology and the opportunity that I had to sit in class listening to Harvey Harvey Kahn was missional before missional was cool. Harvey Kahn was out of the box, and if you're going to work in the world of missions, then you need somebody who's thinking that way. But he wasn't just thinking that way, he had committed his life through Westminster Theological Seminary to train people to do that. So my role right now is I'm responsible for church planting, church care, and international expansion for Sovereign Grace Ministries. So you can probably see how a missiology degree from Westminster would serve me in that role, working into other nations and planting churches in other places and learning how to think in a way that isn't just American, but to learn how to contextualize the gospel and contextualize ministry into different places. So I carry the value that I've received through teaching and instruction. I carry the value of that in my heart here from Westminster, and I'm very grateful. My Doctor of Ministry was in the late 90s, and my role with Sovereign Grace is church planting and church care, and so I'm responsible for helping the local churches to provide care for training future leaders. And so having the opportunity to study in an environment like Westminster Theological Seminary and to sit along other men and be under other individuals that are teaching, that are giving me specified instruction on how to do pastoral care effectively. It's hard to describe the difference that makes. And one of the things that I really appreciate about my time at Westminster is that I was really able to take what I was receiving and apply it in ministry almost immediately. So there wasn't this big gap. I had the benefit of being able to pursue additional education while I was in ministry, which meant that I was finishing a class on Thursday evening and applying some of the stuff on Friday morning. It was just a great way to do it. And part of the reason for that was because of the flexibility that Westminster had in the way that they programmed different degrees. So I'm very grateful for that. Well, as I said, I serve in Sovereign Grace Ministries, and we are in a key moment of our history in that we are revising our polity, and we're creating a book of church order. And so right now all of the churches in Sovereign Grace have received this book of church order to be able to evaluate it and pray over it and then suggest changes to it towards ultimately being able to ratify it. And so when you think about the significance of that step, it certainly does rise to the level of needing prayer. So you can pray that God would help us to unite as a movement around the polity that we think God is giving us, and to pray for wisdom in leading churches through the process.